The best way to achieve your goals is through relentless effort and discipline. It is one of the only ways to have certain success in life. You create your own luck. Welcome back, everybody, to the Insightful Podcast. We gain insight in order to move forward in life. If you have been enjoying the Insightful Podcast so far, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. But without further ado, let's get into this episode. I'm actually on the sixth episode today of me filming, so my voice is starting to hurt. But besides that, I'm going to keep pushing forward because I feel as if this topic is very important and maybe it can give you a new perspective. One of the biggest things that changed my life this past year was the concept of how you create your own luck. And that is why I want to share it with you guys. So, my first point on why this statement is true, that you create your own luck, is that volume will crush anything in its way, right? Put it this way, everyone says that posting content on social media is like a lottery ticket. Every piece of content that you post could potentially go viral and help grow your account significantly, right? So, why does volume matter? Volume matters because imagine you post 3 times a day for 365 days straight. That's more than 1,000 videos that year. You're telling me that not one of those videos is going to go viral? Of course it will, right? I started posting 3 times a day in April. And by the end of April, I believe it was the last week, one of my videos hit 1 million views. And that was just a month. That was just a month of posting consistently, right? And that's why I believe volume will crush anything in its path. And volume is directly linked to being lucky because the more you do something, the higher the chance you have of succeeding in it, right? When I was doing the podcast and I was getting guests the first time when I did the rebranding and called it the Insightful Podcast, I was sending out 50 to 100 DMs a day to get guests on, right? And all that I wanted to do was get at least 1 to 2 to 3 guests from those 50 to 100 DMs, right? And it would happen, right? Maybe all of them didn't fall through and the episodes never ended up happening, but that was that was a big reason why I was able to get guests right off the bat. I remember I had started the podcast, and that same week I already had a new guest on that I never had on before. And it was because I was just sending so many DMs, right? So volume is very important when it comes to creating your own luck because like I said in that statement, volume will crush anything in your way. My next point is listen to this quote by one of my favorite Stoic philosophers, Seneca. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity, right? How do you give yourself the opportunity to succeed? You give yourself the opportunity to succeed by constantly showing up every single day, right? If you show up every single day in whatever pursuit you're currently on, no matter how you feel, no matter what circumstances you're given that day, and no matter what work needs to be done, you are giving yourself the best opportunity to have the opportunity to succeed or for that luck to kick in because you're there every single day, right? If you show up every single day and I send messages for the podcast, one day I'm going to have a huge guest on because I would have sent out those DMs, right? And preparation is very important when it comes to luck because you set yourself up for the time to have that result, right? When it comes to copywriting, when I've worked for people, it was because not only was I outreaching and doing that volume to put myself out there, I was also studying copywriting. I was making copy, I was writing emails, I was doing email marketing in order so that when the opportunity did reveal itself to me, I was able to deliver and actually able to, produce results for my clients. Let's take a quick break to speak about the sponsor for the podcast. I am now working with a company called Attilius Apparel, and if you want Christian fitness wear that looks like this, or this, click the link in the description. Now let's get back into the podcast. So, That is one of the biggest things, is you got to have not only the volume to set out and, accomplish those things and get that luck that you were looking for, but you also need to prepare for when that luck kicks in and when that opportunity presents itself. So one and one can't go with the other, because if you're not prepared, you can have all the opportunities in the world and you'll squander them. And if you are too prepared, but you don't implement that volume, it'll never kick in. So that's why I think Seneca's quote is so relatable when it comes to what I'm speaking about today. Luck will also favor the person who makes a decision quickly, right? For me, for example, when I started the podcast and I decided, okay, I want to get some guests on, we got a new rebrand, I want to be able to speak to more people. If I would have, you know, spent my time coming up with the best DM to send people that they would read, they would want to be on the podcast, whatever the case may be, that would have, taken a lot of time, right? So what did I do? I decided to make the message the way I wanted to make it and quickly start sending it out. I didn't think too much, right? And this goes back to one of the previous podcasts I had about thinking too much, and that's what holds you back. Luck will never come to you if you're just sitting there thinking all the time and not doing, right? You're not putting in that volume. You're not letting those opportunities present themselves. So that is very important. It's speed, it's quickness. How quick are you going to go from idea to action, right? Because this is the way I look at it. Let's say you're posting 10 videos in a row once a day, right? And you miss one of the videos, right? You miss day 7. What if day 7 was the video that was going to go viral and start to help you grow your account? You would have never known. So that's why you need to be quick. You need to not think too much. Obviously have preparation, like I was saying before, obviously have a plan, but you need to make decisions quickly, and they need to, you know, be decisions that are going to produce results for you in the future. And that's what I'm saying. You create your own luck, and why I know this to be true is all the examples I've already given. I posted 3 times a day, and eventually one of my videos went viral, and it changed my life in a sense from there. I sent so many DMs to people that I started getting results, and I started getting responses, and I started getting people on the podcast. Same thing with copywriting. I would do good outreach to companies and people that I know would need copywriting, and eventually some of them said yes, right? And that's the beauty of luck and with volume, is that these types of messages, or the knocks you do on the door, they might not answer that door right away. It might take a month, it might take a week, it might take a year, but you've already sent out that message, or you've already done that action, that they might respond to you a little while after, and you'll be like, damn, like I didn't think this to happen. For example, I'm not going to say who, but someone I've already had on the podcast as a guest, I've messaged them twice on one account, and I messaged them another time on my other account, and they responded on my other account months later, and it was all because I was persistent, and I put in the reps in the beginning in order to get myself known to this person. So that is very important, my friend. That is the biggest reason, excuse me, that is the biggest reason why you create your own luck, because you put yourself out there and you do the necessary work in the beginning in order to deserve that luck. There are many variables to being lucky, and if you execute them all, it will happen to you. It's just a matter of when, right? It's me starting the podcast, right? I wanted guests on, I didn't know how many guests I would have on. I don't know when they would come on and when they would be available, but I just knew if I put in the work and I had the preparation needed, I had the setup, had the ability to film the podcast. When they did show up, I was able to execute it, right? And that's what I'm basically saying here, is that there are many variables to the concept of being lucky. But if you execute them all, it will happen. It will, because you're putting in the work necessary, you're doing the right things on a daily basis. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And that part you can't control. So never focus on that. So I want to wrap this up here because, it's a quicker podcast, but I think it's very valuable for you guys to meditate on. And that is like, I want to say, one of the most important things I've learned this past year too in 2024 is that you create your own luck. You don't just sit there and opportunities and things fall into your lap. No, you need to go out there. You need to reach for them. You need to work hard for them. You need to grind, because that's when those opportunities present themselves. And just so I emphasize this point a lot too, is that yeah, you can knock on the doors, but if you aren't ready for what's behind that door, you'll squander that opportunity. So you need to make sure you're prepared, you're putting in the volume necessary, and then all that luck will pay off. So keep that in mind, my friend. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast and making it this far. If you enjoyed it, remember to follow us on Spotify. We gain insight in order to move forward in life. Let me know in the comments what has been the most impactful episode of the Insightful podcast so far, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.